Boy, Tara, that is not looking good. And as you can imagine, we've had several comments and many more questions coming into the Fox 46 Charlotte Facebook page. So we want to get results for those viewers and get those questions answered. Let's start with Ashley Young. She writes, I'm in Maysville, North Carolina. Where should we go? Now, Tara, is Maysville an area that could be at risk? I mean, that's what everybody wants to know. Is it going to affect me in my area?
Oh, certainly. Around southeastern North Carolina, definitely at risk. And so just continue, folks that may be watching here on our website or through our Facebook page. If you're thinking about what to do, just heed the advice of your local officials. And if they're telling you to evacuate, certainly do that.
This could get really ugly. Thank you for getting results for our viewers. And remember out there, if you have a question, do not be shy. We're here to help. This is what we want to do. We want to inform you and get some results for you. Fox 46 will have live updates on Hurricane Florence's track every day at 2, 5, 8, and 11. Now, along with having all the necessary supplies, you're going to need to fill up your tank, right? But you want to make sure that you check the price at the pump. Price gouging laws are now in effect in North Carolina. And as we're prepping, we have some breaking news right now. We have a live look at North Tryon right outside of Uptown. A car is stuck in high water. This is that the underpass that always gets flooded whenever we have a lot of rain. Yeah, right there. Well, that car you see there is stuck in the high water, and at this moment, emergency crews are trying to get it out. As soon as we have any more information on this or any updates to give you, we will bring them to you. Tracking Hurricane Florence, we've got a live look at Myrtle Beach courtesy of Earth Cams. This entire area under a hurricane warning tonight, and that storm still inching closer to the coast. Projected landfall is near Wilmington tomorrow. Mandatory evacuations will go into place. Brian? All right, thanks, Tara. Fox 46 says team coverage tonight. Our crews in Wrightsville Beach are seeing several people boarding up their homes in preparation of Florence arriving. And right now, we want to remind you that that area is under a mandatory evacuation. Fox 46's David Santendri joining us live from Wilmington tonight. And David, time is running out for people there if they decide they want to evacuate.
Well, yeah, mandatory evacuations for people out here, so they have to evacuate by 8 p.m. Wednesday evening.
Tonight, evacuations are underway in South Carolina. Skyfox flying over I-26, where troopers changed the directions of lanes, reversing them to make it easier to get out. Now, this lane reversal will stop 6 hours before the hurricane makes landfall. Fox News' Doug Evans spent the day in Charleston and spoke with a number of people who are getting out of town.
Weary evacuees rested on their long trek away from the South Carolina coastline.
In North Carolina, more shelters are expected to open tomorrow for those who might be displaced following Hurricane Florence. Hundreds of inmates from jails in Carteret, Beaufort, Dare, and Chowan have also been moved to larger facilities.
Fox 46 Charlotte is in your neighborhood. Now,
emergency crews from Charlotte and Gaston County are heading to the coast to help neighbors in need. Now, earlier today, mass casualty buses left to pick people up from hospitals, senior homes, and assisted living centers. The buses can carry up to 18 patients in their beds and up to 6 people who need wheelchairs. Crews say they are well equipped to handle emergencies. And Fox 46 is getting results for you ahead of the storm. Be aware, be alert of price gouging. The laws are now in effect in North Carolina. State leaders are making sure that everyone checks the price at the pump. If you see inflated prices for the things that you're going to need, gas, food, water, even construction services, Attorney General Josh Stein wants you to know that that is illegal. In about 20 minutes, the Hurricane Center is going to give an 11 o'clock update on Hurricane Florence. So don't change the channel. Fox 46's Tara Lane will have a live update on Florence's track starting at 11. Well, CMPD is getting results in your neighborhood. It's often perceived that cops just write tickets and arrest people, but that's not the case.
Yeah, it's more about the relationships they build in the neighborhood. And for one officer, he spent a lifetime serving people and his country.
Congratulations, Ted.
Talk about a true patriot and a true servant of the public right there. 3 services, Army, National Guard, Air National Guard, and also the Navy, and then also CMPD Officer of the Month helping out a young kid. Something,
that man was born to serve, and we are lucky to have him in our community.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we'll be right back with a final check of Hurricane Florence.
Well, this is the latest track of Hurricane Florence. Still a Category 4 storm, packing 140-mile-an-hour winds, barreling toward the Carolina coast.
Make no mistake, this is a serious storm. FEMA warns power could be knocked out for weeks in the hardest hit areas. And tonight we have live team coverage across the state of North Carolina as millions of people prepare to either ride it out or get out of harm's way. We begin with Fox 46 meteorologist Tara Lane. And Tara, Florence may not be done growing. Could she get bigger?
It actually could. It has actually gotten bigger through the afternoon and getting a little stronger once again. It was back down to Category 3 hurricane earlier. Now it's back up to Category 4 status, and we'll maybe see a few more fluctuations in intensity too.
All right, thanks, Janine. Now you've heard Tara continue to say that Florence is going to be a huge rain event, possibly bringing major flooding to Charlotte. Well, you can use flood zone maps like this one to see if your neighborhood is in a flood zone. And tonight, Fox 46's Robin Kennedy spoke to some people about how they are using these maps to prepare for Florence.
I mean, it was a scary night, everybody waking up at like 3, 4 in the morning, and the whole neighborhood was flooded and people were having to evacuate, literally like wading through the water.
And we have much more live team coverage on Hurricane Florence. Are you prepared for the storm? The list that will help you best weather the storm. Plus, we're getting results by answering your questions about the storm. That's coming up live next. I'm Diana Alvear.
And I'm Brian Blakely. You're watching Fox 46 Charlotte News at 10, getting results to help you stay safe as Hurricane Florence moves into Statesville, Mooresville, and the entire Charlotte area. Fox 46 meteorologist Tara Lane has the latest track coming up in about 2 minutes. But first, Fox 46 is getting results for you. And do you have what you need to weather the storm?
Fox 46 Charlotte asked shoppers the same question. And Amber Roberts is live in the Dilworth neighborhood. Amber, how are people feeling there tonight? I can imagine they're a little nervous.
Diana and Brian, I am inside the Food Lion on Park Road in South Charlotte, and honestly, some shoppers knew exactly what to get, and others were a little lost.
Yeah, meteorologist Tara Lane, you've been talking about this is a monster storm. It is a Category 4. It may even park itself on the coast and then come our way.
Yeah, I mean, catastrophic destruction. It looks like out toward the central eastern part of the state, possibly with that terrible flooding that could take place, and some of that, yeah, could happen around here too.
And many of those places haven't even recovered from Matthews a couple years ago.
Tonight, Fox 46 is getting results for you. We are answering your questions about Hurricane Florence.
Yeah, and Tara's going to be the one to do that. And right now, you get the first question.
That's right. Amanda Clark asks, I'd like a timeline so I can plan my schedule. Wouldn't we all? I'd appreciate updates on when the wind rain will begin, peak, and end. I will either take Friday or Saturday off from work, depending on when the storm peaks here in Charlotte. So that is the $64 million question. When is this all going to happen?
I know, and I know a lot of folks have already had maybe their work shifts canceled on Friday because of that, because that's when we're going to start to feel the effects, is on Friday. Now, if you do have to work during the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, that's when we are likely going to get the peak of the effects over the weekend, when that heavy rain really starts to kick in, those off and on periods of heavy rain and the wind. So we could be looking at anywhere from 30 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts, but maybe some higher wind gusts that work out toward Anson and Richmond County areas to the east.
And a lot of rain coming up on Saturday and Sunday here.
And it's not going to completely end over the weekend either. I mean, this could go well into next
Reminds
week.
me of Houston last year with the hurricane.
And that's the issue.
Good.
That's really the main issue
It's
with this system.
It's going to dissipate and just head all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing if a hurricane makes landfall and causes, destruction, flooding, and then moves on. But this time around, it's just going to sit and spin. And just where exactly that happens, that's, one of the other $1 million questions.
All right,
too.
Laura Salaya says, being from out of state, I want to know if we need to prepare for days without power. I'm unfamiliar with hurricane weather. My biggest concern is the dangers of flooding and what parts of Charlotte are likely to flood.
Well, we've seen that. I know different areas of Charlotte, obviously, and the mountains, too. I don't want to leave them out, too, because if we do get that heavy rain like we saw back in May, we're going to have to be concerned about mudslides and landslides in the high country, roads being washed out. So in those flood-prone areas, I mean, we see that in those construction zones on the highways, too. And I would say if you do have plans to head on out to work Friday through the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, pack a bag just in case.
You may not even be able to get out.
Exactly. You may not. I mean, you may start to drive and then you come upon an area of standing water. If it's dark outside, you can't find that alternate route, so you just have to go around.
Let's hope for the best.
Right. Real quick, this last question. What supplies do we actually need, especially if we lose power? What are we looking at? Batteries, water?
Yeah, exactly. Batteries, water, those 9-volt batteries. And I know we have a list on our website, several different life hacks is what we're calling them, of different things you can do. You don't have to run out and just buy a ton of water. You You can take some of those empty jugs or bottles that you may have, fill them up with water. You can take Ziploc bags, fill them up with water, put them in the freezer, and use that bathtub. We were talking about that
Yep,
earlier.
Miami girl over
so
here. That's what
use
we
that
did.
for various different things, dishes and water to flush the toilet, things like that.
All right, great questions, great answers. Thanks, Tara, and thanks for joining us on this segment right here on the couch. We'll be right back with more.
Yeah, and time is running out to evacuate. We've got how some people are riding out the storm and planning to stay safe.